Welcome to Speak English Podcast with Rory and Alex.
We all have that goal, right? To just effortlessly pick up a new language. But the reality is you buy the flashcards, you download the apps, and then life happens.
It always happens. That's the real challenge. It's not about learning the words. It's about conquering the inconsistency.
Yeah, you start out so strong, and then one busy Tuesday, that 1-hour study session you planned just feels impossible.
And it's always the first thing to go. Work runs late, a kid gets sick, you're just exhausted, and that big, ambitious goal gets pushed to tomorrow, and then the next day.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into the system, the thing that moves you past just good intentions and into, well, automatic action. We're pulling from some really diverse sources here.
We are. We have cutting-edge neuroscience from the University of South Australia. We have behavioral science from James Clear's work on habit stacking.
And practical methods from language experts on the ground. Our mission, really, is to give you a framework, a system so automatic that you can embed language learning into your day without fighting yourself every single morning.
And that's the key, not fighting yourself.
And here's the most, I think, liberating part from all the research. You do not need to find a solid, uninterrupted hour every single day. That idea is actually what kills most people's progress.
It really is. When you look at the actual science of memory, the experts agree. 10 to 15 minutes a day, done consistently, makes a huge difference.
Consistency over intensity.
Every single time. It's that constant small repetition that builds the pathways in your brain, not the occasional, marathon study session.
Okay, so let's unpack that. If consistency is the engine, why does all the research point to the morning? Why is that the most powerful time?
Yeah.
And how do we get over that feeling of just being totally overwhelmed?
That feeling of being overwhelmed is enemy number one. It's your brain basically saying, this task is too big, the mountain is too high.
Right.
The solution is to break it into tiny little pebbles. Just focus on the one small step right in front of you.
And the morning is the perfect time for that first small step.
It absolutely is. The sources call it the most powerful time because your mind is it's like a sponge. After a good night's sleep, your prefrontal cortex, that's the part for focus and decisions, it's rested. It's ready.
So you're putting the good stuff in first before all the noise of the day.
Exactly. Before the emails and the stress and everything else, you set a productive, intentional tone for your entire day.
There's this principle we saw in the sources. It's often linked to people like Jack Ma, and it frames the stakes really well. It's something like, if you control the first hour of your day, you can control your life.
And that's really about discipline, isn't it? Language learning is an active discipline. If you show yourself you can do that one tiny thing, that 15 minutes, you're building this neurological confidence. You're proving to your brain that you keep your promises.
Yeah. And that's more powerful than just raw talent.
Much more powerful. Winning in the morning builds a kind of discipline that talent alone can't compete with.
But I have to push back a little. The old way of learning was always classes, textbooks, hour-long sessions. Is 15 minutes really enough? Are we just telling people what they want to hear?
That's a fair question. The difference is the goal. Traditional school is about massive, rapid learning. We're talking about adherence, about retention.
Okay.
The research isn't saying you'll be fluent in a month. It's saying that 15 minutes of focused, intentional practice is enough to trigger the neural strengthening you need for long-term memory. And that's what really matters. Consistency beats intensity.
This is where it gets really interesting for me, the behavioral science bit. How you turn a vague goal into something you just do. We were talking about habit stacking.
Habit stacking is brilliant because it makes the new habit almost inevitable. You're just attaching a new, tiny habit to an existing one, something you already do without thinking.
The formula is so simple. After my current habit, I will demedal it. But what's happening in the brain? Why does that work so well?
Okay, so this gets into something called synaptic pruning. Your brain is always trying to be more efficient. So the connections you use all the time, like the ones for making coffee, they get stronger faster, superhighways.
And the ones you don't use?
They get pruned away. The brain clears them out.
So if I already have this superhighway for pouring my coffee, I can basically build a little on-ramp for a new habit.
That's a perfect analogy. You are hijacking that strong existing pathway. It takes away the decision. You don't have to think, should I study now? Do I have time?
It removes the decision fatigue.
Exactly. That's what kills consistency. Habit stacking makes it automatic. The coffee is done, so you start the next thing. No choice involved.
So what are the rules for making this work? The sources are very clear. First, start ridiculously small, like 2 minutes or less.
Yes, if it feels difficult, you're trying to do too much. The second rule is you have to be specific. A vague goal like, I'll read more, is useless.
It's dead on arrival, yeah.
Right, it has to be concrete. So instead of, I'll check my flashcards, it's, when I close my laptop for lunch, I will do 10 flashcards on my phone.
That leaves no room for ambiguity. You know exactly when and where.
And the third rule is just be realistic. If you hate mornings, don't plan to wake up an hour earlier. That's just setting yourself up to fail. Fit the habit into your real life.
This whole approach, this system, it fits perfectly with something else mentioned in the sources, the idea of microlearning.
Yes, microlearning is the what, and habit stacking is the how. Microlearning is just breaking a big topic into tiny, digestible chunks. 1 to 10 minutes, tops.
So it prevents your brain from getting overloaded.
Exactly. And habit stacking is the delivery truck that makes sure one of those chunks arrives on your brain's doorstep every single day.
Okay, so if habit stacking is the truck, what's the cargo? What are the high-impact tasks we should be doing in that 15-minute window? Let's get into the 4-part morning routine engine.
And the key word here is intentional. We're choosing to actively use these 15 minutes, not just, scroll through our phones. This 4-part system is designed to maximize everything.
Part 1 is the easy one. Listen, this is where you use what the sources call dead time.
Dead time is any time you're physically busy but your brain is free. Making breakfast, your commute, washing your face.
Right.
You just put on an English podcast or some simple audio. Your brain, especially in the morning, just soaks up the rhythm and the sounds of the language.
Okay, part 2, speak. This is called the gym for your mouth. I like that.
It's so important. A lot of learners can understand everything, but when they try to talk, their mouth just doesn't cooperate. The muscles aren't trained.
So the morning, when you're alone, is the perfect time to practice without feeling judged.
The perfect safe space. In the shower, making coffee, whatever. Just say simple things out loud. Today I am happy. What will I do at work? It doesn't have to be complicated.
Just hearing your own voice builds a ton of confidence.
A massive amount. Then part 3 is write. And this is minimal. Just 3 sentences.
3 sentences. That's it. What do you write about?
Anything. Your plans for the day, what the weather is like, how you feel. The point is to force your brain to think in English, not translate from your own language. It's a tiny, powerful action.
And the last part, which is critical, part 4, review. This is about fighting the memory bucket with a hole.
That's such a great way to put it. Our memory is leaky by design. New words, especially, they just fall out if you don't reinforce them.
We've all done that. You walk into a room and completely forget why you're there.
That's your memory bucket leaking. So the review is just patching that hole. You just quickly look at one word or phrase you learned yesterday. A quick glance. That's it.
And that simple act of retrieval strengthens the memory.
It makes that neural pathway stronger. So the whole cycle, listen, speak, write, review, it all fits neatly into that 15-minute slot.
Now, we've talked a lot about the morning, but the sources are really clear that what you do for those 15 minutes is only half the equation. What happens at night is just as important.
Maybe even more important. This is where we have to talk about sleep, the neurobiology of how memory actually gets stored.
And there's that amazing research from the University of South Australia on this.
A fascinating study. They had people learn a miniature, made-up language. Then they split them into 2 groups. One group stayed awake all day, and the other group got to sleep.
And the sleep group did way better on the test the next day. So what is sleep actually doing to the memories?
This is the really cool science part. So when you learn something new, that memory is stored temporarily in a part of the brain called the hippocampus.
Okay, so it's like a short-term holding area.
A staging area, exactly. It's fragile. Then, during deep non-REM sleep, your brain gets to work. It's a very active state.
It's not just shutting down.
Not at all. There are these specific brain waves, slow oscillations, and sleep spindles that start to couple together. And that coupling is literally the signal of the information being transferred from the hippocampus,
The temporary folder.
to the cortex, which is like your brain's long-term hard drive. Without that sleep, the transfer doesn't happen. The memory just gets deleted.
So all that consistent effort during the day is basically pointless if you don't get deep restorative sleep. That's when the 15 minutes actually get saved.
That's when the payoff happens. And beyond just memory, this kind of consistent practice has profound benefits. It strengthens key language areas of the brain. It's been linked to increased gray matter.
And something called cognitive reserve, right?
Yeah.
Which is the brain's ability to kind of work around damage as we age.
Exactly. It can help delay the onset of neurodegenerative diseases. It even improves multitasking because your brain is constantly practicing switching between two language systems.
Before we apply this, there was one really interesting detail in the research that I want to touch on. An Oxford study looked at the best way to practice new words.
Right, they compared a few methods. Trying to recall the word, just repeating it, or simply restudying it.
And the finding was kind of surprising. They found that a week later, it didn't really matter which method they used. The production accuracy was about the same.
Yeah, that was a really interesting result.
So wait a minute. If just listening to the word again works as well as struggling to say it, why are we telling people to do the gym for your mouth? Isn't that just adding unnecessary friction?
That's a fantastic question, and it really gets to the heart of it. While the pure accuracy of producing a sound might be similar, the speak and write steps are crucial for two other things: confidence and application.
Oh.
The goal isn't just to know the word in a lab setting, it's to use it in a conversation. Practicing saying a sentence, even if it's not perfect, builds the confidence you need to actually try it with a real person. Restudying doesn't give you that.
So the takeaway is, maybe use simple restudying for raw vocabulary, but keep the speaking and writing in your stack to build that real-world confidence.
Precisely. It's a dual approach that makes the whole system both effective and, sustainable.
Okay, let's put this all together. Let's apply the full system, the habit stack, and the 4 parts to something really practical, like phrasal verbs.
Phrasal verbs. They're absolutely essential. They're the core of real conversational English, but they can be so tricky because the meaning isn't obvious.
Like look up can mean look at the sky or look in a dictionary.
Exactly. So we have to practice them in context. We can stack them right onto our morning actions.
Okay, let's build one. My habit stack is, after the coffee machine finishes, I will do my 4-part routine.
Perfect. So for your listen step, maybe you hear a native speaker say they look forward to something. You just note that.
Then I move to the speak step while I'm, say, tidying my desk. What verbs fit there?
You can just narrate what you're doing. You could say, my alarm didn't go off this morning, so I had to wake up late. Now I need to catch up on my emails. Boom, you've just used 3, right in context.
And right after that, for the right step, just my 3 sentences.
Yes, you right. I look forward to my meeting today. I need to write down the key points they bring up. I hope I can catch up this afternoon. You've now intentionally produced that language.
That's the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
Making the language specific to the action I'm doing right then and there, it makes it stick.
It makes it immediately applicable. Other great morning ones are put on your clothes, take off your pajamas, drink up your coffee. By the end of 1 week, you've automatically reinforced dozens of these verbs, not by memorizing a list, but by actually using them.
This has been a true deep dive, an exploration of how to optimize our own brains. So let's just quickly recap the essential ingredients.
Okay. First, keep it small. Be consistent, 10 to 15 minutes. Use habit stacking to make it automatic.
Then follow the 4-part routine. Listen, speak, write, and review.
And absolutely critical, get those 8 hours of quality sleep. That's when the memory transfer actually happens, from the hippocampus to the cortex.
And remember to be kind to yourself. If you miss a day, it's fine. It happens. Don't let guilt creep in. Guilt is the enemy. The moment you miss is just your permission slip to start fresh the next day.
We know that doing this improves your brain. It enhances cognitive reserve. It makes you a better multitasker. So if this small, consistent effort can literally change your brain for the better and open up new opportunities, here is our challenge to you.
What simple non-language goal will you use habit stacking to master this week? What new micro habit, now that you know the science of how your brain is ready and waiting to make those connections stronger, will you anchor to an old routine? Start small, stack high, and just see what happens.